Hi there guys, and welcome to another Crytan photography video. And today we'll be doing something a little bit different in the sense that we are going to be doing a tutorial on getting that film look in an image. So just to jump in straight away, we're going to be working mainly with the curve tool once we've done all the little edits, but the curve tool is perfect for getting your feel and getting that look as well, and playing with the colors in the image. Now, a lot of beginners coming out don't like to use the curve tool because it looks very overcomplicated, and when you do play with it, you obviously get it wrong, and that puts you off using it. So I will be showing you today just some very basic understanding of the curve tool, and that from there you should be able to trust it a bit more and to play with it a bit more as well. So here's an image I took in Crete around about 2015. A lovely little image with the rocks and the boat and that never-ending sky to sea look, which I really liked, and obviously for some reason I had to take a picture of it, and I love the boat, just perfect, dead in the center as well. Okay, so first of all, I'm using Snapseed. Now, Snapseed have had a lot of upgrades in the last couple of months that have made it absolutely phenomenal. Now that it can edit raw images, so Canon, Nikon, Sony, any of your images from your camera should be able to work in the app. Do check their website and see if your camera and format is available for the app. If not, drop the developers an email. Hopefully they'll be able to do it for you. Just let them know that this camera and so on is available for editing. And then you can also use Lightroom Mobile. I know that has a curve tool function as well. But if you're not sure, or you know of an app that you already use that has the curve tool, let me know in the comments below. But I'll be showing you today on Snapseed. The reason being, it's one of the easiest editing apps to use there for any beginner, and it's very sleek. It's a lot sleeker than the Adobe Lightroom. I'm hoping they're going to come up with something a little bit more, maybe change it a bit. So the first thing you're going to notice when you're shooting with a raw image and when you put it in your phone, you're going to have this new image tools, and it's going to have develop, so you can actually develop in RAW, and you can play around with the exposure and the shadows and highlights without really damaging the image that you would with JPEG. When it's exported, it looks horrible. It doesn't look like the 100 megapixel photo that you had before, because it compresses everything. But the raw image in this is great to work with. So I'm just going to bump up the contrast. I love the ship in the background. I kind of want to go back to Crete now seeing this, and let's up the saturation a little bit, because that blue, yeah, so the boat really stands out against that blue. And let's get that temperature is fine. There we are. All right, so the next thing, once you're happy with the colors and the dark and lights in your image in terms of having the image looking as it is, you can hit save on there and it will save the information. And we're going to go to tune the image because I like the ambience. Ambience gives it just a little bit. So it's really about finessing and finding what works for you rather than what works for me, but I find this works for me, just playing with little bits. And the nice thing is you can go back to a specific edit and give a bit more control of that. I don't think you can do it with Adobe Lightroom Mobile. It's going back into your previous edit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I always find once I'm done I can sort of come back to it and it will affect pretty much most of the image. And there we go. So I'm happy with that. And details. So I personally like to sharpen image if I'm going for that whole film look, because a lot of film you're shooting with a fixed focal focal length, and you're also shooting with a fixed aperture of maybe f11 or f5, depending on your camera's ability to change and thing. But I kind of like the everything in focus look for shooting with a film camera. And there we are. Now you'll notice the rocks at the bottom are quite noisy, but we're going to fix that up in a little bit because we're going to use another tool, and this is what I love about this. So there's another tool called Selective. Now Selective is great for putting sort of bright or really dark parts in the image, and it's really strange because I haven't seen a tool like this before. You can play around with sort of like the bright area in the image, but since there's no sun, because I lost the sun behind the actual boat, I'm actually gonna make a sun. So this is the composite part of the editing. It's not really a composite as such, but it's the composite part of playing around with getting that right. So what you want to do is pop that on there, and you get these little dots, and when you're using them, you just put your finger and drag it up and down, and you get these options to play with so many different things. So they give you saturation, so you can actually have a fake sun in your image, and I find that brilliant. I don't know who thought of this, but well done. Snapseed, you guys know what you're doing when it comes to image editing, right? So the nice thing about this, because the sky is very hazy, blurry, you can add a sun in there and it actually kind of works. I didn't think it was, but it was gonna. There we are. And once you're happy with that, boom, we have a sun. And right, so the next thing, and we're going to go into the curves tool. So just to clarify, when you're working with curves for the very first time, I suggest you stay in RGB, very simply because it will control all the red and green and blue options in your image. And all you have to do really is to bring up the bottom left hand corner slightly up, maybe about halfway, and grab somewhere in the middle of that same line and just drag it down a bit, and there you get this lovely film look in the image. And there you have it. So it looks slightly like it's lost a lot of contrast in there, but some people go for the full-on lens blur as well, so you can actually mimic your film lens as well. And last but not least, use a bit of vignette. Everyone loves a bit of vignette. There we are. And if you're still not happy, I would love to have a bit more warmth. You can go back into your editing, and I'm going to turn up the warmth just a little bit. And there you have it. So this is a very simple technique I use for on-the-go editing, and it's really great to play with the curve tool in that sense that it will give you a rough guide to your film look. Obviously, you can play around with the red and green and blue channels. This will give you a bit more control over those specific channels, but remember, when you play with red, you're going to get more green, and I'll show you what I mean. So if you play with red, your image becomes a bit more green, or it gets very red. And let's try green. Green, you get more of a purple and red, depending on which direction you go with. And blue, you get more yellow. So you can play with that and find out how it actually works and what it can work. So it changes the tone in your image. But I find just working with the RGB channel to start with is great to get an understanding of how it works. That's all from me today. If you've got any comments, let me know below. If you've got any tutorials that you'd like me to do, or something to share, or if you've done a picture with Snapseed, do tag me in it. Just put @CryTimePhotography. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And yeah, look forward to the next one. Also, if you like the music in this video, this is all produced by myself and a couple of friends, and I like doing music as well. That's my other passion. So do follow me on SoundCloud, give us a like, give us a share. Some are available for download, and if you'd like a song for download, let me know and I'll send it to you. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one. Keep clicking.